morning, team, and welcome to week 2 of Psych 205. So this week, right, we have a couple of things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about job satisfaction. We're going to talk about emotions in the workplace. We're going to talk about change and stress, right? So if you haven't had the chance to take the Goodwin course on change management, it's a really good course, right? And one of the things that we talk about is John Kotter's 8 steps to implementing change. And see, there's John Kotter's book. And I put a little video from Dr. Kotter on the heart of change. And one of the things that we need to remember in organizational behavior is that change causes stress, right? And it causes stress because it changes our world, and we don't know what the future is going to hold for us. Our jobs is very important. Our mortgages rely on our paycheck, right? So if things start changing, am I still going to be able to perform when the change occurs? Am I still needed? These are the questions that get asked. Sorry about the glare. It's Sunday morning. And this causes emotions with us, and our emotions are very contagious, right? How many times have you been to the coffee area at the workplace and there's just people complaining about the work or whatever change is going to be implemented, and they're complaining, and the next thing you know, you go back to your cubicle or your office and you're in a bad mood. Emotions are contagious. Or if somebody's smiling and just loving life, next thing you know, you're in a happy mood. Emotions are contagious. It affects the organization, right? So also, I did a little voiceover PowerPoint, and you have to excuse me because it was done in the morning before my first cup of coffee, so I was kind of dragging butt figuring out this new Windows 10 PowerPoint app that I used. But I think it's very important. Please take time to view it because I noticed a lot of you guys are psych majors. So some of the terms and models that I use, you may have been exposed to already. But in this, right, PowerPoint, I introduce you maybe to the Yohari window. And the Yohari window is I think it's very important because it talks about behaviors that we do, that we know we do, and that we don't know we do, and behaviors that others know we do and that they don't know, and the importance of feedback and trust, right? Because the only way we can grow as people and as an organization is to have trust to give and receive honest feedback without repercussions. How many times have you worked for somebody that said, I value your feedback? No, you don't. That your body language, they're not valuing your feedback. So how are you going to be comfortable giving feedback to somebody like that, right? So one of the things I want your feedback, for instance, at the end of this course, not just on my competency as a professor, but as me as a person. And you're going to have your end of course surveys, but I want you to email me, or email Dr. Walter anonymously. We have that trust. I have that. I've been working for Dr. Walter now 5 years or so. He has that trust in me. So I want that honest feedback. That's the only way I grow as a professor, So anyways, yeah, you got to have that trust because there's things I do that I'm not aware of, but you may be aware of it. And that's the Yohari window, right? And then I introduce you in that little PowerPoint to the DISC behavioral theory, right? So some of you may have been exposed to DISC already. DISC stands for dominance, influence, steadfastness, and conscientiousness. It's designed by Dr. William Marston. Let me get my little whiteboard here. And Dr. William Marston, he was a Harvard professor in the early 19th century, and he invented the lie detector, he invented Wonder Woman, but he was more famous because he wrote this book called The Emotions of Normal People, where he explores DISC behavioral theory. Now, DISC It's interesting because he never copyrighted it, not like Myers-Briggs or any of those other personality assessments, which we'll be doing Myers-Briggs too through this course. But anyways, he never copyrighted it. So you can go online, and I highly recommend it. Take a free DISC assessment. They're all over the place. And so what he says, and I'm going to draw this out here, right? So we have a little diagram. He says, basically, DISC is our behaviors. It's different than personalities. Personalities, right? These are innate, a personality is an innate personality preference that we're born with, right? It doesn't take into account the environment. These are our personality traits, like Myers-Briggs, which we'll be doing. But DISC is a behavior. So it's how we interact with the environment. So he says, hey, basically, we have, right, something like this. And he says, how do we view ourselves to the environment? So let's say this is our environment. This line right here. This is our environment. Are we active? And do we see ourselves greater than the environment? So basically, are you one of those people that go into work and say, I can change this, I can make this better, right? Or are you more passive to the environment, right? Are you accepting of the environment? Sorry, I'm trying to write like this. So yeah, so basically up at the top, we have people that think they are active and greater than the environment they're put in, and passive down at the bottom. Now, the side by side, when given a task, are you accepting of the task? Let's put that there. Accept of the task. Or are you questioning of the task? Are you one of those people that look at a task and say, I can make this better? So now we should have 4 quadrants. So write that down on your little chart. Hopefully you got a piece of paper while listening to me. So are you, when you go into work, do you see yourself greater than the work environment? Do you try to change things? Or are you accepting, just saying, hey, I'm here? And then when given the task, do you question the task, or are you accepting of the task? So what we have here now is 4 letters, D, I, S, and C. People up here that are greater than the environment and questioning of the task, they are considered dominant. I am a high dominant person. I like to take control of the environment. I like to see myself greater. I challenge it. People over here, they're influencers. These are people that are greater, they view themselves as greater than the environment, but they're accepting of the task. And these type of people, they love to be around people. They love the meetings. They love the interaction. Here, the high dominance people, these are get the job done, go home type people, right? Down here at the bottom is steadfastness, right? So these people, they're passive according to the environment, and they are accepting of the task. These are the type of people that will make sure you're happy in the organization and give you a cup of coffee, right? They're very supportive of you as a person. Down here, conscientiousness, they're passive, but they're questioning of the task. These are the people that will make sure you're following procedures, that you are, following the law. They make sure the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. You need all 4 types in your organization. But, so this is a quick rundown of DISC behavioral theory. So like I said, yeah, please go ahead and take one of the assessments online. I think you're going to like it. And we'll do some more as we go through this course on organizational behavior, because it's important, because the organization is us, right? And it is the diversity of all of us. We've been having some good discussions in the discussion boards about the power of diversity and why it's important. And yeah. So anywho, let's see what else we got. So this week, we're going to read chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 17. We have 2 discussion boards. We have our regular assignment. Also, Tuesday is the first Census Day. So if you are behind, well, I sent an email this morning, so I hope everybody got that email and they are reading it. Because, as you know, I don't do late discussion boards. So, uh, anywho, I hope everybody gets that email, reads it, and starts contributing. Because we have a couple of latecomers. But on Tuesday, I will have to mark non-participants as absent. Hands are tied on that. And that means you'll get a phone call if you have not participated. The hard census day is next Tuesday. Uh, so, also, if you look on week 8, I updated the information on the final project, uh, paper, APA format, basically what we've learned throughout this course, right? And what we're going to be talking about. So, I think that's it. Okay, so everybody have a great weekend. If you have any comments or concerns, feel free to contact me. Okay, thanks. Dave out.